carrying on here. Now, if you haven't watched video 1 or part 1 of computing integers, make sure you watch that so you understand the concepts that we have going on here. And we're just going to carry on through here, okay? So let's work this one out together, and then the second one I'm going to let you work out, and we're going to check to see if you got the right answer. All right, so are there any parentheses with problems that need to be solved? No. Are there any exponents? No. Is there some multiplying and dividing? Yes. Again, we're going to multiply and divide left to right. So we start at left and work our way forward, all right? So the first one we're going to work is here, all right? Oop, and I got to type in, of course, yes here. Sorry, you should be typing this in your notes too, or writing this in your notes, yes, right? And so here we have -4 times -5. So 4 times 5 is 20, but we have two negative numbers, so two negative numbers is always going to be a positive, right? Now we can tackle the next part, right, which is 20 times -2. That's going to be 40, but we have one negative and one positive. So what does that make the number? If you said in your head negative, you nailed it. Now, is there any addition or subtraction we have to worry about? Yes, -40 minus -8. Now, thinking about the additive inverse, right? We could say the same thing as -40 plus 8, okay? -40 plus +8, or in this case, I'll just write it in, -40 plus 8, which equals, well, we take the larger number from the smaller number, we get 32, and then borrow the sign. So there we go, -32. All right, go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and go to this one right here, and I'm going to go ahead and pause it, and then you're going to fill out with all the yeses and the nos and working the problem out to see if you get the same thing I do. Here we go. Boom, there you go. And as you can see, we just simply work left to right. Exactly right. 9 times -1 is -9. -9 times -8 is 72. Again, two negatives make a positive. And then we have 72, minus -13. The additive inverse is plus +13. So 72 plus 13 is 85. Now, down here, we get into some little trickery right here, all right? Note what it says right here. And I'm going to underline it. I'm going to underline certain key ideas here. Before you can divide a fraction, you must first complete PEMDAS. PEMDAS within the fraction. All righty. First complete the PEMDAS. All righty. So in this one, are there any parentheses that need to be solved or worked out? The answer is no. Are there any exponents? No. Is there any multiplying or dividing? Absolutely. How many division problems are there? There seem, oops, that one went a little high. There seem to be about 2, okay? So let's work out the next portion here, all right? So the first thing we need to work out is this denominator up here, right? We got the numerator here, the denominator here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and work this. I'll use a text box right here. So we're going to work that out. That is -6 times, and we have -1. Okay, what is my answer to that? Well, -6 times 1 is 6. We got two negative numbers, so the answer is going to be positive. So we got 6, okay? Next thing we could work out is, hey, I think we could successfully tackle on the fraction, right? So we have 36 over 6, which gives us, well, 6, because again, 36, you do the whole long division thing, or you just know, hey, 36 and 36, 6 times 6 is 36. If I can get my words out right? And there you go. So now the fraction is worked out. You can go ahead and work the rest of the problem with the using the PEMDAS rule, right? Now, you can't just say 6 plus -8, right? Because we still have a division here. Where's that division? That division is right here. We got -8 divided by 2. So 8 divided by 2 is 4, but we have a negative there, so we have negative 4. So now we have 6 plus negative 4, and then we can go ahead and finish our subtraction, and we can say that 6 plus negative 4, okay, and that's going to give us a 2, or a positive 2. All right, I got one more toughie I'm going to work out here. And let's see, which one do I want to take on? Which one do I want to take on? This one pretty much works out the same way we worked the other. This one, the same way we worked the other. Let's go to, let's do, eeny, meeny, miny. Let's do this one right here. All right, so thinking about PEMDAS, do we have parentheses that need to be solved? No. Okay. Do we have exponents that need to be solved? No. Do we have some fractions that we need to deal with? Yes. All right, so we got some multiplication here and division within the fraction. Remember, a fraction is a division, so you want to take care of that fraction first, right? So we have here 60 over negative 5 times 4. So that's 60 over negative 5 times 4. So we're going to go ahead and I want to type in 60. I'm going to use my little underline here for my fraction. All righty. And then I have the results of what is 5 times 4? Well, that's 20. Do we have a negative number in there? Yes, we do. So that's negative 20. All right, 60 over negative 20. Now, here's the problem, okay? We have 60 over negative 20, but now we also have to think about, hey, what does this actually represent? I have a negative sign down here. So if I have a negative sign down there, I'm going to have a negative number, okay? I could reduce this already thinking, all right, I'm going to reduce this down so I get 6 over 2. So my end result then is going to be what? It is going to be a 3. All right, so all this, and I'm going to use, it's just equals. Let's just use the equal sign, makes it super easy. All right, so all that equals negative 3. All right, so effectively, all that 60 over negative 20 is the same as negative 3, okay? Now I can go ahead and solve the rest of my problem, okay? So now, what else do I have to worry about? I have a minus here, so I'm not going to worry about that. So now I'm going to tackle on, and I'm going to go ahead and write this in here with this. That's negative 3, and I have a minus. I have negative 6 times 2. All righty, so let's tackle the negative 6 times 2, okay? So that's going to work out to, let's see here. I'm going to come on down here, and this is in my way here, so I'm going to work it to the side and move it down. This is the same as negative 3 minus, what's the result of negative 6 times 2? Well, we have a negative number, so it's going to be a negative number, right? And then I have a 12, so it's negative 12, all right? And now I'm left with something a little bit simpler. Would you agree? I would, right? Now I just have negative 3 minus negative 12. Well, thinking additive inverse, okay, we could say, all right, well, the additive inverse, what's the additive inverse of negative 3 minus negative 12? That's going to be negative 3 plus positive 12, okay? And so we can work that there. And then we could say, all right, after all that's said and done, okay, I have a negative 3 and a 12. I'm going to take my larger number, which is 12, subtract my smaller number, which is 3, and I'm going to end up with 9, okay? And then is it positive or negative? Well, the sign from the largest number is positive, right down here. So the answer is positive 9. All righty. In fact, I'm going to just add a little bit more size to that to bring emphasis to it, positive 9. All right, so again, we just simply worked the process through, thinking, again, do we have parentheses? No. Do we have exponents? No. Do we have multiplication and division? We did. We have a fraction, so we need to take care of that first, because remember, fraction is division. Once we simplified the fraction in its simplest form, we were able to continue on with any multiplication. Once we did that, we had a simple addition problem, and then we were able to work that. Okay? So there you go. Now, I tell you what I'm going to do. I am going to go back here, and I'm going to give you the answers here in large form. Okay? And so you can pause this and work these problems out if you choose. Work the problems out, and then I'm going to go ahead and reveal the answer to you here in just a moment. Quick pause, and boom, here we go. All right, so this one here, the answer was negative 16. This one here, the answer was positive 11. This one here, the answer was negative 5. We already solved this one at negative 9. And this one here, which seemed to be a little bit tricky because we had this in parentheses, so you need to solve the question in the parentheses, even though it's an addition or a subtraction problem, the parentheses gets priority. So 5 times the result of that, over 9, and then you would have gotten 40, okay? In fact, this answer right here would have been negative 72, which gave you 360. After doing 5 times negative, would have been negative, I'm sorry, it should be negative 40, not equals 40. That should be negative 40. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. All right, so that gives me to the end of this, and I believe this is the end of our notes. So go ahead now and take on computing with integers. And that should conclude, well, at least our base information here for this series of lessons.